Well, hi everyone, and welcome to Dementia in the Arts. Mary and I are so thrilled to co-host this show and to introduce you to different artists each month living with dementia. And so we're going to introduce ourselves, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts and the fascination and the beauty of the artwork that we're going to see here today. A little background on myself. I am the founder of Alzheimer's Speaks. My mom lived with dementia for 30 years, and that is why I'm so passionate about raising the voices of those living with dementia and showing off their abilities and how they participate and really engage and add to our life. So, Mary, do you want to go next?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I'm Mary Crescenzo. I'm an arts practitioner and strategist, specializing in using arts engagement with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. I'm the author of the Planet Alzheimer's Guide, 8 Ways the Arts Can Transform the Life of Your Loved One and Your Own. The playwright of Planet A, about the inner world of Alzheimer's, and I also offer workshops for caregivers in self-care through creative writing.
Great, thank you.
Awesome.
And Carlos Jr., known as Charlie Robot, is kind of his artistic name there. Carlos, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
What?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, mate. Yeah. I'm Carlos Olivas Jr. And because my dad was Carlos Olivas. So I named him. He's his junior. Anyway, and I'm getting up in age and still doing art as much as I can. I spend my life all over the world because I was in the Navy. I was a Navy submariner, the USS Bluegill. And our home base was Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, a nice place. And we went to Vietnam and a lot of little islands that are out in the ocean, all the way from the North Pole to the South Pole. The South Pole was really neat because they had little penguins down there. And when we were going by there, the penguins were up standing around on the ice, and there had to be at least about 50 of them. And they just started looking at you. We waved at them. They didn't wave back, though. They were so cute.
Well,
That's
good.
one of the really neat things that I remember.
Wonderful. And you live out in California now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Carlos the third is your son. So you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Carlos?
Hi, my name is Carlos Olivas the third. Technically, I'm a junior, but to separate us,
No, he's a junior.
I'm the third. Let's see. I'm a native of California. 2015. Moving back home to start taking care of my dad. And I am a fellow Carry Across Generations fellow, also a member of HFC's Care Squad. I am a volunteer advocate with Alzheimer's Association. I am a caregiving.com champion, and I am the primary caregiver for Dad as he flourishes in a creative space with Alzheimer's.
And how long has your dad been diagnosed?
Since 2017.
2007.
Diagnosed with Alzheimer's dementia, and 2015 is when he received a diagnosis of mild cognitive impairment.
Okay, great. Well, for purposes of this, if it's okay, I'm going to call Carlos Jr. Charlie. I think that might be easier for conversation if that's all right with you. And so, Charlie, have you done art all of your life?
What's the question?
Have you done art all your life?
Oh, yes, I have. Ever since I was in kindergarten, and we were all supposed to draw part of a train. Everybody got the car. I got the very last card on the train, so I drew it all up on the board, and it was the best one, of course.
Is that called the caboose?
It was caboose, yes, because our house was right next to the railroad, so I always went out there and watched the train go by and wave at the people in the caboose. And one time the train stopped and let me get on there, and they took me down the railroad a little ways so that I could walk back home. So that was pretty neat.
I was going to say that had to be really exciting.
Yes.
What type of art do you like to do, Charlie?
I like to do everything. I have done ceramics at the university when I was going there, and even architecture, building additions to people's houses and stuff. I draw that up and then go do it and get people to do the paint jobs and stuff. And yeah, a little bit of everything.
What about the furniture? You've done furniture,
Yeah, furniture and
jewelry,
a lot of jewelry.
yeah, and then kinetic sculptures.
Ceramics. I have my own kiln outside, so I can do stuff in clay, which I haven't done for a while now. But I have everything I need here. In my garage, I got a table saw. If I want to make furniture, I can cut stuff up. There's nothing that I can't do.
Okay. So now I have to ask you, there's a piece behind you that almost looks like pudding cups on a board right behind you. Is that something you did?
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
This one here?
Yes.
Up?
No, right there. And the white one.
Which one?
That one right there.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all eggshells that I painted.
Okay. My picture must not be that good that I thought they were pudding cups.
They're in a eggshell carton with hollowed out eggshells, and the eggshells are all painted up in geometric fashion, just like most of his art. Or some of them are geometric, some of them are just kind of organic, abstract. And he tried to replicate like a countertop.
Okay. And then the red one behind, right next to that one, is that one that you did too, Charlie?
Sculpture.
That one there?
Yes.
Yeah, that's all wood that I cut and glued together and painted it. So that was fun. It was a tough one because the angles are tough to put together, but I put together. And I had that at the World's Fair when it was around here, or the State Fair actually.
So, Charlie, you do all types of arts, multidisciplinary artist in the field of visual art. Do you do abstract as well as representational?
I didn't understand it.
Do you do abstract work versus?
Or as well as like faces,
Yeah.
and things that we could recognize?
Yeah, I kind of do a little bit of everything.
Okay.
But I like to do more architectural stuff. It's easier, and you really have to think a little bit more, though.
When I read a little bit about what Carlos Jr. gave us about you, I think it talked about that you were an engineer and did that type of drafting work as well. And so it sounds like that kind of led you to doing more of this kind of abstract, but with straight lines and angles. I think like the artwork you just showed us a few minutes ago. Can you show us that one again that Charlie did this morning? That's amazing. Now, what is the medium you use? Does it watercolor or what did you paint that with?
Down and start something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just start putting lines and circles, and then I look at it. So, I'll put another one over here and there, and and then I said, well, now we'll put some color into it, and they do end up with something like that. I don't see it from the very beginning. It's just something that happens. It's like you're walking down the street and you don't know where you're going, and you go see something.
And you just let it flow, let it just happen. I love the colors, the angles. That's not easy to do, but for you were saying that it is because of the way you have experience in that kind of lines, etc. Yeah,
it's more of a game.
Is that oil, or is that a watercolor, or is that pens, or there's so many different mediums that can be
I used a little bit of everything. That one was mostly colored pencils.
colored pen. Can we see it again real quickly?
It's actually markers,
Okay.
and we use a lot of pins.
Right, but I see that he's able to get the shading in the triangle there, as well as the sharp, solid colors. That the composition, I think, is beautiful. My eye just goes all around the page and keeps looking at everything.
Yeah, it's amazing to kind of see him sit here in his chair and kind of get lost in the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Where he can sit there and be relaxed, comforted, and secure.
And I'll put the radio on to a jazz program and listen to jazz all day.
Jazz. So you love jazz. I love jazz too. I'm actually a jazz singer besides the other work that I do. So do you have a favorite jazz artist or?
They're all favorite.
They're all. I agree. So it really helps that the creativity to flow, right? Listening to the music.
It helps me a lot.
It makes sense.
That's something we kind of went with the flow, where we eliminated like television, the news, any anxieties, any stressors, create a space that has all his tools and a place where he can kind of really enjoy his castle
And his strengths too.
Now, you recently had, or is it coming up, an art exhibit? Is that correct?
What's the question?
She wants to know about your art show.
I just have the show to show people the stuff, and I really don't go for selling and stuff like that, because I like to keep my own stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a current exhibition at the Art Beat Gallery and Studio in downtown Sacramento.
Okay.
Also have an online gallery presence at Veterans Art Institute.
Oh.
Oh, I'm not familiar with that. Are you, Mary?
No, I'm not. I wanted to ask more about Charlie, that you are a veteran, and of course, thank you for your service. Is there a group of veterans that, through the Veterans Administration, that get together and do art? And I'd like to know more about that organization. I'm sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, they are, but I don't go to them. I kind of stick to myself. I only time I do anything like that is if I go someplace where they have ships where people can go on and take a look at them. And I like to go on the ones that have submarines because I can go and look at everything. It just remind me of my time in the Navy there. And the last time I did that, I was had some people with me, and I was telling them about this and that. And pretty soon I turned around and I said, "Holy cow! There was a whole bunch of people following me around."
You're kind of like the guide, the expert, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because I was telling even some of the people that worked there didn't know about this and that. Like, what's that down there? Well, that's the way you can open up it, getting down into the battery compartment. And I said, "What? You walk around down there? You can't walk around down there. You have to crawl around down there." And you always knew us guys that have to work with the batteries because our clothes were always had holes in them from the battery acid getting on and
Oh, yeah.
so we had to be real careful when we went down and didn't get acid on our hands and rubbing our eyes. So, because you feel like you need to do that down there sometime, but you got to really be control because you can't stand up down there. You have to crawl, and then you have to reach over one battery. Well, one battery, like you have in your flashlight, in the submarine, one battery is the size of a regular refrigerator in your home. One battery, and you get 200 of them down there. Yes, and you have to check the water in every one of them and keep track of it and be careful. Don't take any mail, anything with that was nails or material like that in your body, because if you get one of those across one of the bars down there, you can really get zapped pretty bad.
Oh, wow.
Or killed.
Wow. Well, you had to have been an interesting guide on those tours for people, to be able to talk about the real history and the nuts and the bolts of things. And I'm sure people really appreciated that. I wanted to pull up some of your artwork and have you talk about that a little bit, if that's okay. You had sent me a PowerPoint, so let me just get that where I want it to be. And we will kind of go from there. Okay, so here's a picture of you when you were in the Navy with the bluegill. So I thought that was kind of fun to be able to show. Let's look at some of your artwork here. So again, we're noting that you were diagnosed in 2015 with mild cognitive impairment known as MCI, and then in 2017 with Alzheimer's disease. Do you remember this picture, and does it have any meaning to you when you look at it, Charlie?
It's part of it, yeah. I've done so many things like this that I just look at them and say, "Where did this come from?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is amazing. Like Mary said, the lines. Do you use a ruler, to make your lines so straight and crisp? Or
I use anything I can find. If there's a glass of water there, I can use that and use the glass.
It's so precise and so beautifully angled, and I love the negative space that happens, which is the white part of the paper that comes through.
Yeah.
That's negative space in art is so powerful because it has its own shape, its own power. And this is a perfect example of that.
Let's look at another one here. Let's see. Is this your wife?
Yes, that's Maria.
Okay.
And me.
And who's down below? Is that you, Carlos, with your mom and dad?
Yes.
Okay. Now here's another one. It looks like in 2017 is when you really started creating art again. Is that correct?
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that, but it's part like the shore, and the colors are different in different locations of the world. So that is sand, pink sand. So, but you do find that in some places.
Yeah. I have a question. Tell us about the time you stopped making art and then how you began to make it again. Because I know as an artist, it's always in you. Tell us about, maybe you both can tell us about that space in between and then how you began creating again.
Well, I think about it all the time, and here in Sacramento, there's many art galleries that I can go and see who's doing what, and it gives me ideas also, and everything I look at is a piece of art for me. Even a wadded up paper. And I said, oh, I could do color on the side, I color this side, and really, really something else. So it's a game for me, and I have fun. Yeah.
That's a great way to describe making art because it's like play. It's in the moment. It's no judgment. It's just I'm having fun. And that's what makes it so special.
Like I look at a piece of paper with nothing on it, and I just look at it for a while, and then I just get the ink out and zap, something start growing there. So I don't know what it's going to look like, but it ends up with something. But I've had training in drawing, illustration. I went to school for that in the military, so I would learn how to draw a picture of a bomb or any military thing, even the sailors themselves. So, but now I'm home resting.
But
Do you-
still making art.
Mhm.
Do you want me to kind of give a perspective of from my point of view, or
Please.
roughly around 2013, everything kind of stopped. The note takings, the accounting for like taxes, uh, bills, artwork just kind of stopped. And when I moved back home, it wasn't much activity. It wasn't until after the diagnosis and adjustments to medications where he started picking up pen and paper and began to get back into a routine of creativity. It was quite a bit of time that that we noticed that there wasn't a connection to his passion, something that he was always engaged in. And I've known him from the very beginning as always being a busybody, tinkering out in the garage, teaching us how to do things when we needed our either our cars fixed or art projects for school. He was always there teaching us everything that we know now.
Do you feel, and again, Charlie, please jump in on this. When you got your diagnosis, a lot of people go through like a depression and a withdrawal and feeling angry. Did you go through that, and could that have pulled you out of wanting to do art?
I don't know.
Did you notice anything, Carlos?
Yeah, I noticed that there might have been um, a lull, maybe a depression before the diagnosis, and once we got on the scene and started applying some therapeutic approaches, that we were able to kind of support him. and give them something comfortable to kind of relate with.
Wonderful. That's so nice to see. I think sometimes families overlook things and they go with what they're told, or they go with the stigma of a person's not capable. And boy, Charlie, you're blowing that one out of the water with your art. You're saying, don't tell me I can't do that. You are doing magnificent work. And, we're just thrilled that you are here sharing that with us today. Let me go ahead and pull up a couple more pictures here. So bear with me. Here you've got noted a routine encourages creativity. And is that something that you have felt, Carlos, and Charlie, you as well, that the more you do it, the more you want to do it?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you have to keep Carlos busy getting his supplies and making sure you're stocked up, because I would imagine you go through quite a bit.
Oh yeah, we go through a lot of. We were going through a lot of computer paper, 8.5 by 11 stuff, and he would put it on a clipboard and use that as a platform for him to draw with. And then we started developing more of a routine where we expanded with a variety of colors and sketch pads and just assortment of different templates, straight edges, angle edges, anything pretty much that he can kind of get his hands on at his as fingertips within vicinity, and he just kind of goes at it. You make sure that there's music going on, and the temperature is just right, and everything is happy.
Yeah, that's right. He's got it.
So, Charlie, when you're working on a piece like this, do you kind of block out everything else but the music and your art in front of you?
I think so. Yeah. I like do things with my music going on. So, and sometimes I can dance and do the art at the same time.
I love it. Charlie, you are an inspiration, and there might be somebody who's listening who's saying, well, that's great because he's very talented, which indeed you are. And it's true, some people have a greater height or ability, but it's my opinion that everyone can make art, even if they haven't spent their lives doing this. So if you're listening, I want you to know that Charlie is this inspiration for all of us. But even if you've never made art before, you can do this. And caregivers need to know that it's okay for them as well to encourage this and just see what happens, because art is a natural, innate ability in all of us to want to express ourselves. So I love that you have done this your whole life. I like to say as an artist that I don't choose to do this. I have to do this. I have to do my art. But even if someone's never done it before, I've noticed in my work that it really does help people to calm down, to focus, and to feel joy. So I wanted to share that if someone's listening and saying, well, yeah, I can't do that. You can. But to see your work and how much you've done is just inspiring to me.
Here's another piece, and this one looks like it's on a clipboard, like Carlos was saying. And so this one, you just really are using one color against the white versus the multicolor. Do you think your mood was different that you chose just to stick with one color? Or does that have anything to do with it?
What's the question?
Did you stick with one color? Was there a certain mood that you were going for?
It depends on the music.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see what else we have here.
That looks like a Miles Davis to me, inspiration.
Oh, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, here's another one where you can just see how you're studying this in terms of what are you going to do next. And that's what it appears to me like there's a lot of thought going into each and every movement and creation that you make in these pieces. Is that how you feel when you're looking at things, or am I interpreting it different?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Mhm.
When I sit down to do something, I look at the paper and have music going on, and that has a big play on my art. And I like to listen to jazz, so and I kind of dance around and then put some ink down and get something going, and that's all part of my brain.
So how long does it take you to create a piece, or does that vary?
Oh, it just depends on how big it is. You know, I can work on like regular little piece of paper or a big uh, cardboard, which I like to work with, but it takes more ink, so or whatever I'm using. But anyway, that's what I do.
Now, Mary, what are your thoughts on this one? Because it looks a little bit different than some of the others that we've seen.
Well, it's got it's not as rigid, angular. It's almost reminds me of like a centipede or something. It's got
Yeah,
this, right? It's got this flow in it, and of course, everyone sees art and interprets it their own way. But it's got movement and lightness to it, and
it's moving up to bite my belly.
okay, I can see that.
I'm glad you didn't say anything else that might have been inappropriate.
Yeah, and I love how you're looking at it and observing what you've done at a distance. That's what I see. What do you see, Lori?
Well, when I look at it, I see like a crown almost with a veil with things hanging. So very different from
Yeah.
from a centipede, but really colorful, really upbeat, and just very interesting. Just it really draws my eye to it, and again, very different from your other pieces, which also drew my eye in, but just in a different. It's kind of like when I look at this piece versus one of the ones that's more oriented to shapes and angles. This one seems more freer to me. It feels lighter to me when I look at it. I do you feel that at all, Charlie, when you're doing that, or is it really a centipede and I'm just way off with my crown and my veil?
I see everything, and because I lived in a place where there were a lot of bugs and animals, so
Oh.
yeah, up in the mountains, and besides the railroad, uh, I saw all kinds of things going through the house where we used to live
Mm.
as a kid. And I used to do things, but I wasn't supposed to do. Is like hop on the train, and
Mm.
but you couldn't jump off of the train because it was going too fast. So, but you knew where it had to slow down, and you'd go to that place and jump off. That's one of the things us kids used to do when I lived in Orville.
I bet.
Things we wouldn't tell anybody else, like our parents.
So this is an interesting piece where you have kind of the black and white surrounding, and then you've got that pop of color in the middle here.
Yeah, I don't
Anything?
know why I did that, but I did it.
So, Carlos, what do you see when you look at the pieces your dad creates?
Well, I usually just say, I don't know what you've been smoking, but it's amazing. I see someone that has a lot of passion and I guess motivation to flourish. He taps into some neural pathway and draws out maybe like a love language, some type of communication in his artwork.
Yeah, it's very, very definite and powerful.
Yeah.
Each of the works, even though they're maybe different visually, but I see that strength coming through, that power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that color is just almost like a punch on this particular piece, you know, that just really, really pops. And here's a few more.
Yeah.
Now the red one looks like a bird to me flying, which I'm sure probably isn't, but that's what I see of that one
I see it as a bug.
as a bug.
Bug. Mm.
Oh yeah, big mosquito coming to bite you. That's what we have in Minnesota.
I think we've had, that we've tried to figure out what the angle was or the orientation. Was it on its, horizontally or was it vertically? We still don't know.
Well, and now that you say that, I look at it different.
If you turned it up, if you turned it one way, it looks like a crown or some type of spaceship
Spaceship, yeah.
or something that's just out of this world. And
But
then the black and white one, it has this I kind of want to say like a Japanese type of feel to it. I don't know. It just has something. I don't know.
Charlie, can you tell us about these a little bit more?
I don't know. The black and white one is the one I like the best, and I like working in black and white and straight lines and circles. And when I sit down, like I said before, I don't know what I'm going to do. I just make a line, a circle, and just keep going and end up with something. So, and that's about. I haven't gone back and tried to get a squirt gun. Try to do art with that. But
Next project.
I keep thinking about it though.
You know, they say that a true good composition, whether it's abstract like this or actually something you can recognize, if you take the paper and you turn it in all different four ways, it still makes sense. It still balances. And I could imagine turning these and really seeing them still standing on their own.
Absolutely. There's times where I'll look at it and I will see it from the opposite way and still be amazed. And then I'll look at it from his perspective and I'm blown away by the I don't know how to convey it, but it captures you. I'm arrested by the beauty of his work.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Well, now this is an interesting piece. Now, what are you painting here?
What are you painting there?
Oh, heck if I know.
is that the gourd?
It might have. I don't remember.
Yeah, that's the gourd there. And then you have another wooden piece. And above your head is another wood sculpture that you have outside in the patio.
Yeah.
That fell down in the windstorm that we just had.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have a bunch of gourds that are from projects that mom and dad took on a long time ago, and we have some extra gourds around. And we picked up some paint pins, and he just sat there and started creating, utilizing what we provided and what was available in the garage, and he just went to town. And he would sit outside or sit inside and make a mess.
Well, it's neat to see how you see everything as art. Everything can become a piece of art, which is nice, I think, for the rest of us to see. And even the conversation we've been having about what do you see in these pieces, just emphasizes beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what angle are you approaching it in? What's your history? You see bugs, I see crowns from being a little princess girl, and so it's kind of interesting to hear what people see when they look at the different pieces.
Yeah, I can walk down the street and I see a crack in the street that got a good shape, and I said, "Oh, I like that." And I can go over there and get some paper and rub over that area so I get the view of it, so I won't forget. And then I can come back home and do something with it, using it as a design. Yeah.
Well, this one has a title, if I'm not mistaken.
Everything that comes out of the last few years have been, this is his brain. When I ask him, what is it? And he'll say, this is my brain today.
I see.
What captures me is like the eye is so alert in this picture. And again, maybe it's not an eye, maybe it's a planet, maybe it's different things, but that's what I see when I look at it, is just this really alert eye. And then I look below it, and to me it's almost just like a big toothy grin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is like a happy zone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those unusual pieces that are rare. Usually it's the geometric shapes that are seen on the screen right now. The red and blue one, that's very common. The black and white. The image that looks like a bird is very rare. And those types of images, it's kind of hard to kind of pinpoint where that comes from, because there's certain things that are very common. You'll go with geometric shapes for a week, and then you'll have one day where it's all organic, free flowing.
Well, a lot of things that I look at it in the art way. Like I'll be walking down the street and looking at the concrete that they walk on and cracks in it and the way it goes. Even out on the street, where the street has been worn off and there's split out there too. It's all art for me, and then just art made by cars. The weight of cars and everything.
What a great way to look at the world, though, as seeing something so much deeper. And the one that looks like a bird, that's what I saw at first, but then the more I looked at it, it looked more like almost like a quill pen being dipped in because of the colors used. It draws it in with a depth. And the beak is more of a handle to that container. So I mean, it's just really interesting how you can look at it so differently.
I see that now that you described it. I was like,
yeah,
that is like really neat. Like it's a vessel dipping the quill into it and drawing the ink out.
Yeah.
Yep.
I see that.
I actually started seeing the bird, but then now, Lori, what you just said is wow, because it makes like it three-dimensional. The second thing I saw was a dart into a dartboard.
Now looking at it, I see it as some kind of a round thing with his hand coming out with all his fingers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so reaching out. Yep. Where I saw something going in. Oh, interesting. So here's where we're just talking about your name and how that got coined. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that story, Carlos?
About the what?
How did you get the nickname Charlie?
Charlie? Well, that's what they called me when I was a kid. Carlos, Charles, Charlie. Hey, you.
What about the robot part of it?
Who called you Charlie Robot?
Oh, I forget now. It's because it's, I think it was in the Navy. Because when I did something, I just moved around and did what my work like a robot would be doing. Like the way I turned around and went and pulled a handle, or whatever it was, and I just moved really, really fast too. So it became Charlie Robot.
And you're
Yeah,
on Instagram under that name, Charlie Robot.
yeah. The story behind Charlie Robot is one of our family friends uh, started calling him Charlie Robot, combining his nickname from his childhood and robot because he was always a busybody, tinkering in the garage, always had a project, and he was always on the go. And that's why we started the Charlie Robot Instagram page. I just felt there was a perfect name for it. It was unique.
Love the t-shirt. I love the phrase on the t-shirt too.
Yeah, his sister sent that to us, and in reality, he does Charlie things, and everything that he does on a daily basis is Charlie things.
I love that.
So do I.
And this picture is pretty cute. What were you two thinking of when you were making these faces?
Oh, it was one of those walks during the pandemic where we just needed to get out, and we wanted to. We've always made faces at each other. As far as I can remember, my dad would make silly faces, and I would make silly faces right back at him. So this is one thing that we could share together, going out on the walk, getting close to the river, getting exercise, and sharing a moment.
Yeah.
And making a face. That's we can sit here and make faces at each other and entertain ourselves all day long.
Well, that face up there, it looks like you're going to say a word with an F started it. Like funny.
I love this picture of you. Where was this taken?
This was in Sacramento. This was at a bridge called Guy West Bridge, which is adjacent to California State University, Sacramento, where he worked for about 25 years.
Yep.
So it's something that was very familiar. It's close to our house. It's somewhere where we can get out, get some exercise, and have a moment where he can have somewhere an environment where it's nice to enjoy the view and connect to his past.
And it's very close to home. I can walk over there.
Charlie, what kind of work did you do there for 25 or so years?
I worked for the campus there as a technician, and I would run all the cable and stuff for communication from one classroom to another, and also from the downlink, the downlink between the campus and satellites up in the sky. So I'd find out where the satellite is at and then aim the satellite dish, which was like a big dish. Like it was about, I would say about 6 or 8 feet wide. And I'd move it around and then with my equipment, find which satellite up I'm listening to. And then I could lock into it because the universities in California have a satellite dish up there, and so I would look for it. So once I find it, we could communicate with all the other colleges around the world, actually. So,
So those lines and those circles, they kind of remind me of the idea of a satellite dish and beams and lines going out.
mhm.
Wow.
Well, anything else that you two would like to share with us about your artwork? Charlie, anything you'd like to say?
I do every kind of art. So I have my own kiln in the back, so I could do ceramics, which I haven't done for a while, but I can do ceramics here, and I can go with the campus and buy clay because they got clay there for the artists there. So, and or I can go out and dig up my own clay, which isn't too far down. It's about 5 feet down into the ground. You start running in the clay. So,
Okay.
but you got to dig down. So I don't want to do it.
Make your sidekick do that, huh?
Yeah. No.
No, we'll go to the college and buy the clay, huh? Anything you would like to add, Carlos?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just want to draw attention to the possibilities of adapting therapeutic approaches to people living with Alzheimer's and related dementias, and how, with a little bit of education and resources, that you can create a space that they can thrive in. And I was encouraged by another artist with Alzheimer's to put my dad's artwork on social media, so we can show how individuals can be active in this socialization atmosphere of being creative, utilizing what they've learned in the past and adapting it to their current situation. We can focus on their abilities and not the disability.
Indeed.
And I think that uh, uh, we represent that on a daily basis. We have a great care team, and we try to support our dad to flourish.
That's wonderful, wonderful to hear. And I know that you started posting on a Dementia Action Alliance page, their Dementia in the Arts program. They're a partner with us on this and help push this out. And we love seeing the artwork posted there by individuals. You know, we try to highlight one person a month in terms of their art and how that makes them feel and what it contributes and how it makes everyone else feel too, to be able to see that artwork and to make our brains tinker a little bit with what is it, you know, like we did today, and how fun that was, and how we share those comments and then it changes our perception of what's before us and go, oh, I can see that, or I can't see what you see. But again, still appreciating what is done. I do want to put up, and so I'm just going to share the screen again one more time, because you have QR code to be able to go to Charlie's work and be able to subscribe and follow him and find him on Instagram and Facebook. And looks like you've got a YouTube channel, and they can also email you guys as well. So thank you so much for your time today. Mary, did you have anything else that you'd like to wrap up with?
Well, this was a pleasure. And I want to say that I noticed earlier on the wall, you have a little sign that says, there is everything to hope for and nothing to regret. And that reflects for me the positivity, the aura of can do in your home. Talking to you, Charlie, what you have to tell, what you've shared with us, and Carlos Jr., that sign says it all, and it's a good lesson for me. And thank you for that as well.
Thanks for noticing.
The other organization I want to mention is a Facebook group called Forget Me Nots, who has also ask for us to post our information when we do these videos there, because they want to raise awareness as well. And, if you or your organization are interested in sharing this, please do so. This is exactly why we do this, is to give hope and let people know, like Mary said, anybody can do art. It's just stepping in and trying. And all levels of art have something to offer, not only the person who's doing it, but the rest of us around. When we look at that piece, whatever it is, there's like they say, there's beauty in the eye of the beholder when you look at art, and that doesn't go away. And we just want to make sure that people really understand that, and the comfort and the joy that it can bring, not only to an individual, but to a family, to friends, and to those who are there to support them. So thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Dementia in the Arts. Thank you, Charlie and Carlos.
Thanks, Charlie. Thank Carlos. Thank you all.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.